Pick a profit! Hi, today on Pick a Prophet, we're going to be talking about Father Abraham. Enjoy!
Abram was chosen by the Most High. Genesis 12:1. Now the Elohim said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Genesis 12:4. So Abram departed as the Elohim had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. The Most High blessed Abraham with an abundance of cattle, silver, and gold.
Genesis 13:2. And Abram was very rich in cattle, and silver, and in gold. Genesis 13:5. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents.
Abraham and Lot had so much that they had to separate. Genesis 13:6. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together. For their substance was great, so they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelt then in the land.
Hey, there's my sheep over there!
Well, then, keep your sheep in your own flock.
Genesis 13:8. And Abram said unto Lot,
Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we are brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. If thou depart to the right, then I will go to the left.
The Elohim encourages Abram. Genesis 15:1. After these things, the word of the Elohim came unto Abram in a vision, saying,
Fear not, Abram. I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward.
Abram complains for a lack of an heir. Genesis 15:2. And Abram said,
Elohim, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus. Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
And behold, the word of the Elohim came unto him, saying,
This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir.
The Most High reinsures Abram. Genesis 15, verse 5. And he brought him forth abroad, and said,
Look now toward the heaven, and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. So shall thy seed be.
And he believed in the Elohim, and he counted it to him for righteousness. Sarai gives Abram Hagar to wife. Genesis 16:1. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abram,
The Elohim hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her.
And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her handmaid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abraham to be his wife.
Abram and Hagar have a son. Genesis 16, verse 15. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. The Most High renews the covenant with Abram and changes his name. Genesis 17 and 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Elohim appeared to Abram.
I am the Almighty Elohim. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly.
Genesis 17 and 3. And Abram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him, saying,
As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name no more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee, and I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee.
The Most High tells Abraham that Sarah will have a child. Genesis 17 and 15. And the Elohim said unto Abram,
As for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her.
Isaac is born.
Genesis 21 and 1. And the Elohim visited Sarah, as he had said, and the Elohim did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which Elohim had spoken to him.
And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him Isaac.
The Most High asks Abraham to sacrifice his son. Genesis 22 and 1. And it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham, and said unto him,
Abraham,
and he said,
behold, here am I.
and he said,
Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of.
Abraham proves his faith and obedience.
Genesis 22 and 3. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took 2 young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which Elohim had told him.
Genesis 22, verse 7. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but where's the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. And they came to the place which Elohim had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son.
Genesis chapter 22 and 11. And the angel of the Elohim called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest Elohim, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me.
Abraham was a perfect example of a faithful servant to the Most High. He showed his faith by his works. He left his father's house and his family behind and trusted the Most High to go to a place where he didn't know. He also had patience. It took about 25 years for him to have a promised son, Isaac. He was willing to sacrifice him to the Most High. Abraham was a true friend to the Most High, and through his faith and obedience, we are blessed. Let's all strive to have the faith of Father Abraham.
Like, comment, subscribe to the sing. Don't forget.
He had a heart so pure, it shined like gold. Every night he'd stared at the distant stars. He was captivated by the beauty of art. He grew up in a house surrounded by royalties, and he was at odds with his father. They had different beliefs. He asked, why do you worship idols that cannot speak, that cannot move, and cannot eat, and most certainly cannot see? And this about Father Abraham, and he was just